it didn't affect our relationship, and we were able to just be like, forgiveness is just the best thing for everyone. Just lifts weight off everyone if you can just forgive.
Hey, I'm Ronja Sakata, founder of the Joy Academy and Queen of Joy. That's how my friends call me. It's so important to me that my life is full of joy and that I enjoy every moment, because I know how fast it could be over. We can do so many things to bring joy in our lives, to create joy, and that's what this podcast is all about. I talk with people and they tell me how they bring joy to their everyday life and how they create a life full of joy. So let's dive right in, and please tell me after the episode what your takeaway is from this talk. Welcome, Emma Stowell, to the Let's Create Joy podcast. I'm so excited. I'm connected to New Zealand, and it's 9 a.m. in Switzerland and 9 p.m. in New Zealand. How cool is that that's even possible? Welcome to the podcast, and just tell us, who are you? What do you do? What brings you joy? And how do you create joy?
Hi. So it's lovely to be here. Lovely to see your face and your picture behind you. So I'm an author from New Zealand. As you said, we say New Zealand. Yep, it's 9:00 at night. So I create joy with art. I just love anything creative. So obviously I like writing.
Show us your book.
I like, yeah. So this is, and you can tell even just by the cover how much I love art, because I was adamant that I was having a well-designed cover that was quite different. So I had a graphic designer. So because I just enjoy all types of art, anything that's creative, and that's probably a really good way to share joy as well, because you can see it, spread it, use it to help others. Lots of people use it for healing, I've found.
So if you are creating art, you're normally writing, or you're also painting and drawing, or what do you do?
I used to paint a lot more and draw a lot more before I started writing. But now I would choose to write over that, because now it's now I'm producing something that I'm really passionate about. So I would rather jump on the laptop. With painting as well, I was finding it very hard to work around children. By the time I got out my stuff and then would paint and then have to pack it away. With writing, if I've just got 10 minutes, I can quickly note down something, or it's not so restrictive for me when I've got 3 children.
Yeah, I totally get that. You should have a separate room with the paint and lock, and then it will be ready for you. But if you have to pack away the stuff, it's really it's so fascinating. I mean, open paint tints.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, we sort of do have a wee art corner in our garage. But it's just, I do my painting with the kids now.
Yeah. Tell us about the book. What is the book about? Like, your creativity is now fully into the writing. So being creative with words is such a big and beautiful art. How do you...
Oh, thank you.
Yes. I mean, I love words and the meaning of words, and with only 26 letters, we can create words and sentences and books. How amazing is that?
Exactly. Yeah. So, Mitchell, what are you doing? Sorry, my son's up.
No problem. We have family businesses. That's how it goes.
I don't know what he's doing out of bed at 9. Richie, I want to tell you. You can't. Go to bed and I'll come see you in a minute, darling. So this beautifully broken and it's a trilogy. So I found that worked with my creativity a lot more, because I could really go in depth with Beautifully Broken, and then it goes Beautifully Breaking, and then Beautifully Becoming. So she's got PTSD, and she's a struggling writer, and she's going through a bit of a life crisis. And then in Beautifully Breaking, she sort of falls down a bit further, but then in Beautifully Becoming, she builds herself back up. So that let me go fully into my creative side with each theme. And I tried to put, like at the end of each chapter, I put sort of like little quotes that, you know, how you can see inspirational quotes around you and stuff like that. I tried to do that all through my book, like here at the end of this chapter, I'm a woman finding my voice.
So it's about
So I tried
Beautifully
to
Broken, but inspiring and uplifting, even though it's the first book of the 3.
Yeah, I tried to end on each chapter, not always uplifting, you know, sometimes they're hard hitting, sometimes they're emotional, but some of them were uplifting. So I tried to end it so it seems like you're ending on a little quote to take you through to yet pick up the book again. Because for me, getting over PTSD, because it comes from my experience, I had severe PTSD.
Could you
And I
explain
found
that a little
positive.
bit? The PS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just you see
PTSD.
my.
Sorry.
Could you
New
say
Zealanders.
what the letters are for?
Yeah, New Zealanders talk fast. Post-traumatic stress disorder. So I had an abusive childhood, and the continuous release of cortisol in your mind growing up puts you in fight or flight your whole life. And then I sort of dropped out of high school and was drinking and mucking around. Then I got clean and became a teacher, but I kept that fight or flight in my mind. It was still going. I just hadn't realized that it was still going. And then I sort of hit rock bottom again after I had kids, because I was looking at them and it was reminding me of my childhood. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, how could anyone do some of the things I'd had done to me to a little child? And it put me back in PTSD. And I just thought, when I was healing, positive confirmation and positive affirmations and saying them out loud just really helped me to keep going when I was down. And the more I said them, the more I believed them. So that's why I've tried to incorporate them into my book.
So
yeah.
So which person is your ideal reader? Like, who should just run and buy your book? Like everyone, or if
Well,
I have a huge problem that in my life, and then I can see through reading your book, and it's not a self-help book; it's a fiction book.
yeah,
Right?
it is. Yeah, it is fiction. Yeah.
While reading it, I will see some solutions, or what would you say for that?
Well, I think the ultimate goal in Beautifully Becoming, when she builds herself back up, is to just realize, and I've learned this myself all while writing as well, that we are our own biggest asset. And it doesn't matter what we like. So I've sort of got spirituality, Christianity type thing, sexuality, characters that like influencers that wear heaps of makeup, and then other people that are like health people and all that. It doesn't actually matter what you focus on, as long as you do it with heart and you're authentic. And I think that's the main that some people out there have sort of forgotten their power. But it is written in a fiction, so it's a romance. So I'd say you'd have to definitely like romance stories because it's really centered on it's like a real life read. I don't gloss over anything. So I don't gloss over the love because it's like you're immersed in her world.
So if I like a romance story and be inspired, and also maybe, I think hearing about struggles, if you don't have struggles or not as severe struggles, it's inspiring to be even more grateful for what you have. So it doesn't have to be a person with the same struggles. It can be just eye-opening what others are experiencing.
Yeah, and people are quite fascinated by the fact that I have fibromyalgia for some reason. So I don't know if you've heard of fibromyalgia, but
please tell us about. I know that this illness, but maybe some listeners or watchers don't.
So 3 years ago, I had to give up teaching because I get really sore joint pain and chronic fatigue. Sometimes I can't walk. Migraines, cramps, anything you can think of. I nearly get all the symptoms. I get flashing lights in my eyes, ringing in my ears, all sorts of things like that. And I was really upset about finishing teaching. This was just before I started writing my book. And then that's when I stopped teaching. I thought, well, actually, I had really severe chronic fatigue because of burnout from teaching as well. I thought I would just write for a while and see how it went. But as I wrote more and more and more, I healed and I liked it and I was enjoying it. But yeah, people were really fascinated about being able to write with fibromyalgia and not letting it stop me.
What was your fuel, like, to tell yourself also, I don't let anything stop me from pursuing my dreams?
Yeah. Just positive affirmations to myself and just the passion that I knew that the story had to be out there, and it's about following your intuition ultimately. So I was like, right, my intuition tells me that this story needs to be written, and that gave me the power to get up. I was even able to get up early, and yeah, obviously in the 3 years I wrote it, I had an emergency hysterectomy and glandular fever, and then we had COVID. So it was not an easy 3 years by any means, but I just kept telling myself that it had to be done,
and now
that, that I wanted to do it.
You're finished with all 3 books already?
Just the first one, and the second one's half written.
Yeah. So you're now enrolling the writing more and more until the trilogy is finished.
Yeah.
When now some people are listening and they think like, oh, I would love to write a book, but I'm not an author. I'm not like trained in that. I can't do that. What would you say to people like that?
Well, I'd say you definitely could, because if I can go from being a burnt out teacher with depression, anxiety, and fibromyalgia, and I had to learn everything from scratch, and I learned a lot along the way as well. I learned so much at every single step of the way. I learned something, and I think that was my journey. And now that Beautifully Broken's coming out, and I'm getting other people asking me questions about self-publishing, So I'm thinking about writing a book called Big Dreams from a Small Town. And
I like that.
talking about the steps from today's real world steps as well, because I read a lot of books. I'm really into researching. I research everything, and I read a lot of books, and I've signed up for a lot of courses, but some of the stuff that's out there isn't actually applicable applicable, that's it, to 2020. It doesn't work in 2020 anymore because everyone's overwhelmed. A lot of the strategies that used to work don't work, but I've found the ones that work for me through trial and error, and learning. I read so many books, even when I did my book, even though I have PTSD and I healed myself, and I used that. I read psychology books because I wanted to get the psychology right on it, and also men's psychology because I wanted such well-rounded characters.
So the whole wisdom you assembled is in this fiction book. I think that's another art, like writing a self-help book. My book comes out in 2021 too, and it's just a self-help book. And it's I think it's a lot easier to just write like, do this, try this, this is the technique, instead of like you creating a story around it. That's the art, that's the painting you're doing, you know?
Because I used to get in trouble at college when I did my teaching degree. I used to get in trouble for writing too much because I'd almost write it like a story, and then they'd say, oh no, you can't write your essays like a story, you have to just give us the points. And I was like,
so it was already destiny calling, like there, like it's I want to write stories, not boring reports on some some research. I totally get that. What do you do in, like, you have 3 kids, you're an author, you are writing and doing all the things we have to do when we have family. How do you create joy in your everyday life?
So I think that nature is very important. Going for a walk when you can. Even if I can't walk, I like to look out the window, or if I can get outside in the fresh air. And I just think that people and nature are more connected than we realize. And I do think that it's coming back around, that people are beginning to realize the importance that we have with nature. Hiking's really good if I'm up to it. I can't do big long hikes anymore, but we can do little hikes to a waterfall, like an hour walk or something like that. And that's really good. And I enjoy cooking and baking. Oh, creativity again.
Creativity, you can eat afterwards. That's the best creativity.
Exactly. So that was really good, especially with homeschooling. I didn't put too much pressure on myself to homeschool my children. Luckily, they were not high school age, so there was no exams or anything to worry about. They're 11, 9, and 3. So we just did art, but we did a lot of baking, cooking, eating.
I think I'm a big fan of actually like free learning, which is not what's happening in the schools in Switzerland, but like baking, you have to measure, you have to read accurately. I mean, that's just the best education you can get, and then it's practical, and if you're a grown-up, you know how to bake. Like, I love things like that.
Because no one taught me how to cook, and I remember moving out of home and crying one day because I wanted macaroni and cheese and I couldn't even make cheese sauce. And I was like, why did no one teach me to cook? So now I'm very, I want my daughter to leave home and be able to cook. my sons as well, but my middle son does not have as much interest in it. I have to try and be like, hey, make it exciting for him. Let's make something we've not made before, or something. Whereas my daughter, she cooks tea once a week.
How is
by herself.
cooking tea in New Zealand? Tell us about your customs.
So things like bolognese. You guys eat bolognese over there?
Yes, that's
Italian,
an Italian dish.
Yeah. My stepdad is German, and he makes the most amazing bolognese.
Okay.
The bolognese is delicious. Nachos, meat and vegetables. We usually eat a lot of roast because it's so cold here, and wow, we don't have snow. Not like your snow, but it's cold here, so we don't have such. We have seasons, but I'd say our summer is not so hot. So probably.
Where do you live on the islands?
South Island, so in the colder part as well, because up north is warmer and down south is a bit colder. We sometimes get snow, but we just don't get really hot summers. So it's cold 9 months of the year for me, because I love the heat. So I'm waiting for summer. And so we eat a lot of roast because it's not hot. So we like to eat like hot comfort food a lot. So we have a roast every Sunday.
So a roast is meat or vegetables?
Well, we do both. So potatoes, kumara, and then meat. Vegetarian people do roast too. I think my dad's vegetarian, but so he would just probably eat the vegetables. And we have a lot of barbecues. They say, people sometimes get confused with Aussies, how they say put some meat on the barbie.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard that term, but we don't say that, but we do have a lot of barbecues. Yeah.
I learned that the term barbecue is French, and it's from the beard of a pig to the tail. Like you eat everything. Something like that. I don't know if I got it exactly right, but like barbecue. Cool. It's a very interesting term, and it makes totally sense. I have to.
It does, yeah.
So the BBQ is just the short version. Yeah. And do you have some rituals for yourself, like bringing you into writing mood, or with your kids, like how to enjoy life? And I know you're big in manifesting and like like how do you do that?
I don't need to with my writing. You've gone frozen.
But do you hear me still?
Okay. Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, that's interesting. Now I'm back.
So I do believe in manifestation, because I haven't had to do any rituals with my book, but every step of the way the right thing has come along. There's been lessons as well. So sometimes like the wrong thing will come along. Then I'll learn a lesson, I'll be grateful, and I'll say thank you for the lesson and not get mad. And then the right thing will come along straight after. And it's just all been like that every step of the way. And the right books to inspire me from other people have come along, which I might think, I really want to read this book of someone that I know, and I'll start to read it, but then I'll be at a secondhand store and I'll see a book and I'll be like, shoom, I need that book, grab that book, take it home, and that's the book that I should have been reading that has something inspiring to me in it. And I'm like, I need to trust in the process as I'm going along. So, and I teach my children about that. We're Christian. So we pray to God, but I believe everyone's God is different, like the universe and manifestation and all of that. I don't think you need to be set and rigid in church and all of that. So we just pray in the morning, pretty much say thanks for our day, show a bit of gratitude, say something that we're like looking forward to, thank part of the day positive, which is really good for children, because if they start fighting and getting all wound up, then I realised that we forgot to start with our prayers, like, come back, we'll do it now, and then everyone like regroups again, which is really nice for that.
Yeah,
so,
rituals like that have such a big impact on our soul and everything. I like meditate in the morning. I do it with my Joy Academy clients in the Facebook group. With my Swiss, with different time zones, it wouldn't be possible to do it with all the different time zones. But at my 5:55 in the morning, we do the meditation, and then always like set an intention for the day. Like, let's create a good day for ourselves and for all the people we meet today. And I think it's a beautiful way of starting your day.
Yeah, that's sort of what we do. Yeah. We don't do the meditation part because I think they're a bit young. I do.
What kind of meditations do you like?
So I've listened to your one. So I've done your one a few times. Yeah. And there's another lady in New Zealand who's from Christchurch, and she does some really good ones. One I really like is called Activate Your Future Self.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
So you're connecting to your future self. So I think that's really cool. And then sometimes I just meditate on my own with no sound and not listening to anything. And I just imagine all the things, sort of like what you say about going up higher and up high and then reaching down again. I just imagine myself doing that.
Yeah, I love if you're into that and you trust yourself, then doing a meditation, a freestyle meditation is I think the coolest thing. Just do it your way, and then you can stay with thoughts or imagination or visualizations. Nobody tells you like, now go there. Like, no, I'm not done yet.
Not ready. Yeah.
So
Which takes practice. It took a lot of practice because people said to me, "Oh, was it hard?" And I was like, "Oh, you don't know how hard." Like, because my mind was almost ADHD, but I learned that was part of the PTSD, because how your brain wires itself when you're younger for survival. So I really had to, practice the meditation, but it's really enjoyable when you get past the first. And I love that book, Eat, Pray, Love. And she goes to India. Yeah. And she goes to India and she's saying about being silent and she can't. And I'm like, oh, that was me the first time I read that book. And you learn to, that book sort of inspired me as well, because you do learn to meditate.
Yeah, it's like playing the flute or the guitar. You wouldn't expect yourself playing a big piece in an afternoon later. So like step by step, we learn stuff. Or riding a bike. Well, riding a bike, there are definitely people who are more gifted than others, when you learn it as a grown-up. But learning an instrument, I like this analogy. Like, you have to practice, and even though you're super gifted, you have to practice, and not being stressed about that is just the best thing, to be quicker than you thought that possible.
Not stressing is if you're feeling stressed when you're doing it too. When I was first starting, I found it best to just stop and do it again later, because if I was stressing about it, it was like, oh, that's not gonna bring me joy.
And that's what
Yeah,
life is about. Like, oh, that doesn't bring me joy. Why should you do that then? You know, like this.
yeah,
But everybody said meditation is so good. No, if you, like you said, this
yeah,
intuition and the body feeling, that doesn't bring me joy. What brings me joy? What do I want now? And then go in this
yeah,
direction.
yeah, exactly. And it was very good until it did bring me joy. It was very good even if I got up and did something else, because I didn't realize how much it was opening my mind to what I did want. And so I was able, and it was really interesting because I was able to even see toxic things in my life easier, like maybe a friend that wasn't the best friend, and I was able to actually say, no, I'm not going to be used anymore. It's going to be a two-way street now. Um, and if I started to, say, go on my phone too much, because I don't like going on my phone very much in front of my children, I want them to learn to live in the moment and not be addicted to a screen. So I've got to be very conscious of not being on mine in front of them. And it would just allow me to see more than I think I would have, or what I would have missed maybe before.
Yeah, it really has an impact, but it's a soft, tender impact in the beginning.
Yeah,
And you, yeah, I think as you're a sensitive person, you feel the difference right away. But maybe it takes some time, and
yeah,
maybe you just don't enjoy it. So let it be. Like, nobody
yeah,
has to follow a trend
yeah. My
because
dad would
everybody.
never. My dad is a really happy person. He's never meditated a day in his life, but so it's not for everyone.
Yeah,
He just seems to have a very strong intuition as
yeah,
well. Anyway, I think my family and all my children even all have high sensitivity and feelings. And I'm trying to teach them it's a strength, because for so long I thought it was not a strength, for myself. I thought, oh, I always feel everything so strongly and I always overthink and I get upset easy. But then I saw the good side, how I have empathy for everyone and how I can help others, and um, how I can write such a good book with such good feelings in it, because I can feel them all. As I'm writing, I can get in that moment and feel them. So I'm trying to teach my children as they grow up that it will be a strength.
yeah. How blessed are they that you are so carefully parenting them? I think, like, you no, I think that's such a
Yeah,
gigantic achievement if you had an abusive childhood, to say stop and I do it different and really do it. A
yeah,
lot of people say I won't become that parent I had, but in the end it's like all the bad stuff is happening again, and the cycle, just breaking the
yeah,
cycle, is really, really a big achievement.
yeah. I
You
was
should.
very lucky because I did have an abusive relationship for 1 year, um, just before I met my husband now, and it escalated quite badly. And he beat me up while I was pregnant, trying to make me lose a baby.
Oh wow.
And I just decided after that moment, when I lost the baby, I was like, right, that's it. I'm going to college, and I'm leaving this guy, and I am not going to go through what I went through. And I knew I wanted kids. I always knew from when I was a baby that I'd probably have babies. Um, you know how some little girls playing dolls and all that, or I was really into that, and I just knew that I would be a mum one day. And I was like, no, my kids will not have what I had. And then people said to me that I was really strong for leaving, but at the time I saw it as I was weak, because I was thinking I'm not strong enough to live it, because my mum lived it for 20 something years, and I was thinking, oh, I'm not strong enough to handle that. But I guess at the end of the day it was a strength, because I went to something I would have not imagined myself doing and went to college.
Yeah, it's really, really, I think, yeah, you should be very proud and like aware of your strength. Yeah, and your
Yeah.
intention of being the person you want to be and not what maybe life would have forced you to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
just
That's what I felt like. Yeah.
because I had the most beautiful childhood. I was like, mobbing was a thing in primary school and secondary school, so that was my problem. But I always thought, like, how can I have so many problems or what, like, challenges? But what if I even had an abusive childhood? It's just, you can't imagine it. You don't have to imagine it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just a fact. But like, wow, I always like bow my head and think like, wow, when you get over that, that's just such a huge achievement.
Yeah. Some people that read my book message me and say that they were crying over some of the because the memories of the character, some of them are mine, and they have not experienced that, and they say to me, "Oh, I didn't think something like that would have occurred, or something like that." Um, but that's just the way. But with my kids, I always try and tell them how lucky they are. I always just say to them, even though they have a nice life, I'm always reminding them, if someone at school, if they're acting up, maybe something bad at home's happening, or if there's a quiet kid that's being bullied or something, um, they might be getting something at home as well. So, always be kind to everyone, because you don't know what's going on for everyone. So I'm pretty open with them about what other people might experience. I haven't told them about my stuff because it's their grandparents and they have a relationship with them now. So
Yeah, and even that is like, wow, that's really, really a big thing if you can manage to have a relationship together and just
yeah.
like, yeah, that's like forgiveness work. How did you do that, or you did it with the affirmations, or
Um, no, I had counselling, and so the counsellor, I only had the one session, but it just seemed to work, and it was amazing. He told me to carry around this heavy rock, and then for a whole week, but he said, don't actually do it, but just imagine you've got this big heavy rock and you're brushing your teeth and you're holding it, and you get up in the morning and it's there constantly, and then go to the river and imagine like throwing that heavy rock in and feeling the weight lift off. And he said, that's forgiveness. And I was like, oh my gosh, it is, because I'm that person may never say sorry to me, but I'm the one holding the anger. I can choose to just throw it away. I don't need that anger in my life. And so I did. And it's been the best thing. And I worried about what my parents would think reading my book. And I don't talk about their situation, and so they're fine. And they actually really applauded the book and, said it was really well written. So they focused on the positives as well. So it didn't affect our relationship. And we were able to just be like, forgiveness is just the best thing for everyone. Just lifts weight off everyone if you can just forgive.
it's so beautiful and so powerful, and it needs a lot of strength to do that. It's not
Yeah.
it's easier to hold on to anger if you
Yeah.
are in this anger, and as soon as you realize that it will be beneficial to yourself, that to let it go.
Yeah.
That quote, I it's on the internet, it's like, this is from Buddha, this is from Socrates, like all the big
Oh, yeah.
thinkers get the quote.
Yeah.
the credit for the quote, but like hating somebody is like drinking poison and hoping that the other person drops dead.
Oh,
So
that's right. Yeah.
it really affects yourself. And as soon
Yeah.
as you are aware of how good it feels to let it go, it's even small stuff, you know,
Yeah.
like being pushed into the rose bush every morning when you were walking to kindergarten by some other kid.
Yeah.
Like if you hold on to that feeling, even every time you see a rose bush, you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was that. It's just not
Yeah.
healthy. It's so good if you let it
Yeah.
go. And this kid won't remember you, maybe, like whether not your name and not the
Yeah.
situation, because I he did that or she did that all the time. So yeah, it's really, really
Yeah.
powerful. Forgiveness is a big
It
part of
is.
my
Yeah.
Joy Academy too, and I think,
Oh, cool.
yeah, because there are some techniques. I have
Yeah.
different ones, and then you can
Yeah.
choose which one is most suitable, and or maybe you think, oh, this one would be good. That
Yeah.
and you know, when clients tell me like, I had a fight in my head with my husband before he came home, and then I sorted out with your tool. And then I
Yeah.
didn't have the urge to have this fight anymore. It was so,
Oh, good.
like, how cool is that? You know,
Yeah.
like before you even
Yeah.
start, you can like sort it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that is really good. That's what I found with him saying with the rock and throwing it away. I was able easily to apply it for me to everything. So I don't get angry so much anymore at anything really. Even, road rage, someone's just annoying you, doing something. I'm just like, it's their problem. They're having a bad day. I don't need to have their negativity all in my space. So I will just wait till they've moved or gone. Or if someone's rude to me at the shop, I'm like, they were the rude one. Doesn't matter. I used to get really wound up, if someone was rude to me, I'd be like, no, you can't talk to me like that. Like I had to get my point across, or even on Facebook, someone negative, I'd try and get my point across. But now it's like, I don't need that in my energy.
And from the outside or from the offender side, it might look or feel weak, like ha ha ha. But it's the
Yeah,
opposite. It's more powerful than,
yeah,
yeah, like, oh, you're having a bad day.
exactly.
So sorry for you. Bye bye. And then
Yeah,
being even kind to people who are rude, I think that's the most powerful thing. But I don't think
yeah,
we should or have to aim to be perfect. You know, if we're just not managing to be
yeah,
nice to rude people, we can talk back sometimes, and sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, okay, interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the other thing as well, sort of trying to go with my book. We're not always, because she labels herself and she says, oh, this is good part of my personality, this is the bad part of my personality. But there is no right or wrong. In every situation, there's no right or wrong. If my PTSD does flare up and someone makes me angry, or if someone makes me cry, that's fine as well. Every day is a new day to find joy all over again.
Yeah, and it sounds
Try
cheesy,
again.
but it's just the fact. Like every day is
Yeah,
a new package you get, because we don't know
yeah,
how many days we have on this earth. So let's have fun and let's do cool stuff, which brings us joy
yeah,
with people we love. Like as you said, like a
exactly.
friend with where it's not a two-way road. Yeah, maybe it's time to say goodbye, even though it's hard. Or you don't have to say like it's over, like with a breakup.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like,
Sometimes if you just put in the boundaries, then they take themselves away
and
because they
some friends I
realize.
don't see or
Yeah.
hear a lot, and it's just, I know they're my best friends for life. We don't have to have
Yeah.
a lot of interactions. It's just how we
Yeah.
roll it. It's the whole bandwidth of friendship. I think if it feels good, it's just
Yeah.
the most beautiful thing.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And also realizing that friends grow too,
Yeah.
because you know, sometimes you've changed and someone will say, "Oh, but you've changed." And then, like, I had a friend once say to me, "I'd changed." And I was like, "Well, I have, and I like the new me." But but sometimes it doesn't always mean that everyone can come down the same road as us. And then other friends, I have a friend who I'm friends with now, and we've been friends since 8, and we've both changed, and she's been through some bad times, and I've done some bad things as well, and you forgive each other, and that's the really good friendships where you can forgive each other and stay there, even if one of you is in a negative place at that time or anything. That's just, yeah.
Yeah, I think some connections are really made in heaven, like friends or
Yeah.
partners are like, oh, here you are. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like in the well, I got it from a saying, but I wrote about in my book how it's like my soul met your soul. It's like, here you are.
Yeah, very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
What is the name of your main character? Is that a secret or do you tell us?
No, Sarah.
Sarah.
Of some reason I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, my name's Sarah. Did you write about me?" And
Oh
I didn't realize
wow.
I'd picked quite a common name, but I didn't do that on purpose.
How did you pick it? Like 2 seconds or was it a long
I
process?
don't know. I felt like I knew. Yeah, I felt like I knew her character actually. Um, I'm not one of these people that can't make up my mind with names. It's like I get a picture of the person, I think about their personality, and then a name just pops up, and then I just go with that because I'm like, well, that's my intuition telling me that's their name, that's them. And I try not to be indecisive because otherwise I'd fluff around. I know I would fluff around too much because I was indecisive about some other aspects. So I tried to write it so that it's written with chapters.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, I don't know if you can see, but it's got a contents page so you can go back to your favorite. And so there's also poetry. So some of the chapters are poetry, some of them are short stories, and some of them are the story, but they're all the story. And that took
You
a
write
long
in
time to
different
work out.
styles, but the story is going on.
It was all still the same style, but the short stories were more not quite erotica, but like they were like love scenes, and so they were written very short, emotional pieces. And then the poetry, she's a poet, so I tried to write it so that the poems just added an extra emotional element to whatever she was going through.
So
And she would
Sarah
write the
is
poem.
writing the poetry in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it took a lot of it took a lot for me to work out how I was actually going to do all that. A lot. And then a lot of rewrites, changing things around and just trying to get it to work because I wanted it to flow as a story. So each poem and each short story had to be a specific part so that it didn't disrupt the story. So
I
it's
need to
quite
read your
unique.
book. I see that. I see that. We put all the details into the show notes for sure that everybody can find your. You are doing poetry also on your Instagram, or where do you you have poems?
Yeah, I have a poetry group. That was what I started with. So the very first day that I decided, I've just been petting and playing with my kitten. He's about 8 months old and he's still playful.
Cool. Yeah. Can you
um,
show it to
I,
us?
oh, here he is playing with a Christmas decoration.
Ah.
Aren't you, Biscuit? um, so I posted a poem before I started writing my book. So it was the first day that I wasn't teaching, and it was called Forever Free, The Journey to Me. And I think my intuition knew better than myself at the time that I was going to be an author, because I was feeling down about not teaching anymore. But the poem was really uplifting and about taking out your heart and installing it with what is right. And it ended with, may you be forever free. And I think within a few days, I had 100 and something people in my Facebook group.
Wow.
From that one poem. And then I thought, oh wow, well, my poetry is obviously a very good gift to build on. But I knew I didn't want to do a poetry book per se. So that was why I had the idea to make the character a struggling writer, and she writes poetry, because it allowed me to explore both
That's so
avenues. And I
cool.
think poetry is coming back. I really do feel like poetry is coming back. People are beginning to read it more, and you're seeing it more again. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's
there
just
was
lovely,
even
because I've always loved poetry.
a spoken word artist winning America's Got Talent. So I thought, wow, that's
Oh,
powerful.
cool.
Um,
Yeah, that is.
I don't remember his name, but it's a black
Yeah.
gentleman, like really. Oh, it touched me so much when he was talking. You have to check him out. I will
Oh, good. Yeah.
look up his name too, because I thought that's so cool that not like a little singer
Yeah, it's coming
again,
back.
a young girl is winning, like a really grown man with such beautiful, yeah, just like the art of putting
Yeah.
words together and then speaking it so compelling, like wow, like, and long sentences. And for me,
Yeah.
I'm not an English native, I have to concentrate very hard, but like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. And then it was like an instrument, like really like music. So I
Yeah.
agree with you, it's coming back.
Yeah. I think it is really coming back,
Yeah.
which is really awesome. And that's what the character wants to do as well. She wants to bring back poetry.
Yeah.
So then she goes on her journey of finding out how to bring back poetry, but I won't give away how she does. But I do think it is coming back. Yeah.
And when
And
is
then
your
with
the plan for the next book, like to release the next book? Is that this, as we are live now, it's February 2021. So is it
yeah,
this year you will publish your second?
yeah, yes, yeah. I'm hoping to release it at the end of June.
Oh, cool.
I was going to go for one a year, but people started messaging me after number one saying, oh, you better release number two soon. I really want to read it, and they really can't wait. And some of the people that have read it are really, really like big fans now. So that's really cool. And so I was like, okay, I'll put a push on and try but it is half written, so
Yeah, that's realistic.
and it's writing easier. It's
Yeah.
writing easier than the first one, because I know all the characters.
Yeah.
I know I don't have to go through with, I'm going to have the same unique style, and I don't have to fluff around anymore, because I know how I king, and I know my style as well. I didn't even know that to start with. So it's just writing so much easier than the first one. So
Do you have a mean cliffhanger in the end? Like,
yeah. Well, I
Really?
tried to write it so that it could be a standalone.
Okay, because that's like
Yeah. But it is a cliffhanger. But
yeah.
it could be a standalone, but most people, I was on a train ride and I just got a message saying, I hate you. And what? From one of my friends. And then she goes, oh no, I just read your book and now I need number two. And she posts memes all the time. So she posted a meme of Mr. Bean, and I've seen it on a few other memes, but he's like fiddling with a flower and then he's like lying in the field dead, like, and just doing a few other things. And it said, me waiting for Emma's next book.
That's a compliment. That's cute.
Yeah. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you sort of, when you're writing a trilogy, it has to flow on. And because it's a love story, people have said to me they don't know whether they want her to end up with one guy or a different guy or on her own completely. And
Do
I've
you
just said,
know do you know the ending already? Like the third book?
yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I've written the ending. I've written 10,000 words of Beautifully Becoming, because I wanted to make sure I knew where I was going. So I have actually written the last chapter.
That's kind of the future me activation for this
Yeah.
chapter. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, she's because she learns a lot of the stuff that I've learned. So yeah, she sort of is drawing on the future, especially in the third one, where she changes the most.
So cool. So if anybody wants to write but is not like brave enough to start, what do you say? Just wait for my fourth book of what was the title again? Big Dream?
Big Dreams in a Small Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably hoping to release that one at the end of 2021 before Beautifully Becoming.
Okay. That's a cool move. That's like
Because I'm getting a lot of people asking a lot of questions, and I don't really have time to break down every aspect of self-publishing for every person. So it would be easier if I could direct them to the book. And I don't want to do a course, because I do know there are other books out there, but then it says, oh, do this course. But a lot of people don't have time to sit there and do course after course.
yeah,
So
that's the service of your book, like bringing all
yeah,
big points together. That's what a good self-help book or a non-fiction book does for you, like a shortcut.
yeah, that's what I think. I think books have sometimes lost their power, because I did a course on how to become a big author, and they said about releasing your book for free, and then trying to build on it for a course. And I thought, well, that doesn't always work. I think it's different for your joy thing, because you're creating joy and you've got so much there that you can offer. And it's not a course like sit down and do this boring thing that's not going to help you. It's actually building on your intuition. And I think that's what we need to do more, is we need to build on ourselves and our intuition and come from a place of fun and joy and stop over analyzing everything. And I think that when you offer your book for free, then you give away the biggest part of what you've invested to put together, and then it almost devalues what you're going to stand for after. I think that your intuition should guide, you know, where you're going, not what someone else has said to do, give it away for free. but anyway, I'll be talking about that in the book because that I've learned a lot about that as well, because that was a big tactic that people used that I think is no longer working as well.
Yeah, I think with all the you have to do it this way things, it's really it's compelling because okay, just this, and then you do it and it doesn't work because it's not yours. You have maybe some tactics
exactly.
are really good for you and working for you like a charm, but I don't like teachers or leaders who are just saying, do it my way, and that's the only way. That's the worst. If it's like, my way is the only way, like, oh, yeah, I want to do it my way. And everybody should find their own
and
way.
everyone should be.
Yes.
Because that's where your strength is. And that's how the right people come to you as well, or you come to the right other people. Because I had someone who was doing a well-known thing, I don't want to say, but and they've got the blue tick, and they were promoting something like an ad, and I said, and they were talking about hard work all the time and push, push, push. And I said, well, actually, I have fibromyalgia. So if I push, 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 I get sick. So I'm trying to write a fiction book where it can show that you can still do great things following your intuition rather than push, push, push. And sarcastically, this big, well-known person commented and said, oh, yeah, and how's that working for you? And I thought, wow, okay, that doesn't mean you're a nice person, obviously, because why be sarcastic to someone when they're not doing as well as you, because you perceive them to be small and insignificant to you. But it shouldn't be that way. We're all humans, we're all the same, and we should treat each other that way.
Yeah, and if you're in a big company and successful, the least thing you should be like always and to everybody is kind and uplifting,
Exactly.
not like mean and diminishing. Like, wow,
Yeah.
just speaking again, like the forgiveness thing we talked, like that's speaking of their character. If you're somebody which is not as ahead of you or ahead as you are, so yeah, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I thought, well, that didn't make me want to buy his stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
and that's why
he didn't.
I love, like in the Joy Academy, it's like a buffet, you know, there are so many topics and tools, and I encourage you to try things out for a little longer than just one time, you know, like maybe 1 week, 2 months. And after that, you can ditch it and say, nope, that's not for me, with like, you know it, you felt it, that's not for me. And then something else is just perfect for you. But yeah, I like myself, I want freedom. I want to choose myself. I want to decide myself. That's such a, like, since I'm a child, I want to do it my way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Everything in my business is very open. Like, you choose, you decide, try this, try that. But I would never ever say like, this is the only way. Otherwise you're screwed. Yeah.
Well, that's good though, because that's what people need is someone supportive and figuring things out rather than just this way. I've got a daughter who's like that. She's 11 and we joke she'll have to be the boss. Yeah, we're like, she'll have to be the boss one day because she won't do anything anyone else's way.
That's why I'm self-employed. I just don't like to have a boss. I don't like. And I had lovely bosses, but soon after having bosses, I said I want to work for myself, because you know, like having a form to ask for something to change, that something maybe change someday, and then like, oh, come on, can we decide like this that we change up things? That's just not for me. So yeah,
you can just keep doing what brings you joy all the time. And you're probably like me, like with my book. It's funny because I didn't think that I would enjoy the marketing, but then it's coming naturally to me. I'm not marketing per se because I'm just doing everything I enjoy.
Yeah, and
Like
doing it
I
your
enjoy
way
talking
again.
about my
You're
book.
doing
I
your
like
marketing your
posting.
way.
Yeah, I like reading about background things and researching what works and what doesn't work because I'm interested in that and testing theories, and I'm just enjoying all of the aspects of it because it's what you enjoy doing.
And that's so cool for your future. I mean, if you would love to write the book and then marketing is just like, I can't do the marketing, then you're stuck. But like
Yeah,
if you like everything, you can go on and write books for
yeah.
the rest of your life. How beautiful is that?
Yes, I'm hoping so.
If I often close my interview with if
Yeah.
you have now the a megaphone and the whole world is listening, what is your message? Like, what do you want to say to all the humans on this planet?
So if you think that you can't do something, then but you have a dream and you really want to do something, just know that you can. If it's writing a book and you're scared, just start with a sentence. If it's painting a picture, just start with random paints on a paper. If it's running a marathon, start with a walk. Whatever your dream is, you just start small and you just build on it, and then one day it's easy.
Thank you so much. That's what a beautiful ending to our cool talk between like really the opposite side. I have a what's that called? A globe. We say globus in German.
Oh yes,
You know that the
yeah,
world and you are on the
yeah. We call them a
opposite
globe.
side of a globe. A globe. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
On the opposite side. And thank you so much for your time and your energy. And you're going to bed, and I'm starting with my work today. I feel so connected around the globe with these interviews. It's I love it. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Emma.
Yeah.
So have a beautiful
No, it's
night,
been very good.
and we will put
Yeah.
everything into the show notes that everybody can find you. And I'm already curious to read your book.
Well, I hope that you have a really good day since your day is just beginning. I used to have trouble sleeping, but now that I've been writing, I find that it's actually been good. I thought it would be worse because I thought I'd be overthinking and thinking up stories and that. But again, with the intuition, I was just like, no, if you believe you're going to be a writer, you'll have plenty of time to write. So zip.
Sit and sleep. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. If you liked this episode, I look forward to a review from you, and it would be so nice to hear from you what you liked best and what is your takeaway, and maybe it sparked some idea. You really are surprised to have this idea now, and you can go and create joy for your life. And please tell me about it. I would love to hear from you. My contact details, you will find them in the show notes. Have a wonderful